In October 2017, 31 brothers of Alpha Epsilon Pi AePi fraternity gathered for an epic reunion in Val, Colorado. I'm Dan Wilinsky, one of those brothers, and here are their stories one by one.
Hey Steve, Bruce Lucas, Thousand Oaks, California. So glad that you put this thing together as you always do. Can't thank you enough for the generous heart that you have with getting this thing together, coordinating everything, getting the houses organized, activities for us to do. It's something that very few people can share. So you know how much I love you, and I'll tell you again, I love you, Steve. Thanks for doing this. And they wanted to share a favorite AePi memory, and probably there's so many, but probably the best one would probably been our walkout. You know, to get all of us together, pull this thing off, and when other classes did, to have 33 guys and kidnapping, what did we do, 6, 8 guys and stuff like that, and end up in Boulder, Colorado on a bus with 5 cases of beer and enough pot to take care of a town, slap fights that happened on the bus, and then the fun that we had in Boulder, even though we ended up losing the game. But a great time, and that's why we're doing this today, because of the kind of memories we were able to make, you know, going through school. So again, love you, Steve.
My name's Bill Cussman. I'm 39 years old, and I live in St. Charles, Missouri. My best fraternity story, or one of many best, was my freshman year. I dropped out my first semester because I had mono, so everybody thought I was in school, but I really wasn't. And the seniors that year decided, after Missouri beat Alabama, to tie me to the back of Bruce Ring's Jeep with tape in my underwear and drive me through the Commons, which was an exciting moment for me, and it was really a heartfelt moment, a moment that gave me a lot of maturity and helped me in my latter years. So thank you all for having me, and it's great to be here.
My name is Mark Rosenbaum, in case you don't remember me. I live in the Chicago suburbs in the state of Illinois. I'm not a Cub fan. But I would like to tell you probably my favorite memory of when I was at AePi. And it had to do when I was social chairman. And a guy by the name of Sid Gubin, who's not here, but he was here the last time we had this. We had money for a mixer, but unfortunately we were running very low on it. And so we had a choice. We could either buy the juice that was going to be going into the mixer, or we could buy the pure grain alcohol. And unfortunately, for everybody, we decided just to buy the mixer. So everybody who thought they were drinking with pure grain alcohol, well, they were wrong. And with that, everybody got drunk, or so they thought they did. People were actually throwing up from this, and all the while, all they were doing was drinking Kool-Aid. Steve, it's been a pleasure. Can't wait for 2 more years, and let's do this again, and thank you for your hospitality.
Hey Steve, Scott Schwartz, St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you so much for putting this event on and hosting us at your house. It's been a long journey. I remember the first one in '93, where we actually just called it a boys trip, and now they're full-blown reunions. So, you know, the best, just the best. My favorite memories in college go back to probably going on your class's walkout, and then my time as social chairman when I did the Sheik's street dance, which was a really big deal. It took me about 6 months to plan that, and of course the stripper was a highlight, and the wet t-shirt contest was also a highlight. That's it.
I am Terry Slaw, class of 1979. I'd like to thank Steve Lasky for inviting me to the 2017 Ponderosa event number 2. Couldn't make number 1, but I'm here for number 2. I don't know why I was invited, but I'm really honored, and I say that very sincerely, and I'm not disingenuous. It is really, it's an awesome event, an awesome time, and seeing all the guys who I haven't seen in 38 years has just been remarkable, and they pretty much all look the same. I was the master or president of the fraternity as a sophomore, and I remember the house mother, the legendary Jenny D, and my somebody, I don't remember who, and I'm sure the statute of limitations is run, but they had locked her in her room and then put some firecrackers under her door, and when she was finally released, there she is at 9 o'clock at night with 5 suitcases saying, "I'm done, I'm moving out, goodbye, good riddance, see ya." Well, it was all an act, and she probably just wanted us to beg her to stay, which I believe I certainly was involved, and my memory is fading, but probably Howard Hepner and probably Steve Lederman were involved also. But again, that was a long, long time ago, and again, thanks a lot, and hope to see everybody soon.
Hey Steve, it's Fred Sussman here. This is wonderful, having a great time. I'm from St. Louis, as you know. Great favorite fraternity story. So you didn't know this, but right after we got initiated, the pledges do room pick. And you do it by points, and Steve Becker and I had the same amount of points, so we were both trying to get 3-man rooms for 2-man rooms. Everybody else took their rooms. We're left with our odd man out in the class, Dan Wilinsky, and nobody else would fit him in their room. So the only solution was Steve Becker and I had to cut the cards. And of course, Steve cuts first, and I think I'm hosed because he gets a king. And I'm like, just, okay, screw it, but what do I pick? The ace of spades. And so Dan roofed with Steve.
Hey, Steve Lasky, thank you so much for everything you do. You are the biggest mensch in the world. Thank you for inviting me. And Sherry, thank you for what you're about to find when you come back. My name is Jeff Dardick. I was at AePi. I was in the pledge class of 76, I think. And I'm having a great time here up in Colorado. I don't have a particular memory that I can say is my most favorite. What I really remember most is just all the different personalities and just continuously being entertained by everybody. And I guess I was more of an observer than an active, crazy guy, which is not my personality. But I just remember being entertained, appreciating all the humor. And the interesting thing is, now that I'm at this reunion, nobody's changed. They're all just as funny. They've got the same sense of humor and personality. And it's great to see that people haven't changed and they're genuine. And it's just great to be a part of this group.
Hey Steve, want to thank you for a great weekend and getting in touch with me. It's been a long time since I've been in touch with all the guys, 40 years, and having a great weekend. I'm Mark Manfield from, well, I'm originally from Kansas City, but I live in Venice Beach, California. And let's see, my favorite memory would be, I don't know favorite, but one that sticks out, there's many. The one night we pranked our president, Miles Ross. We grabbed him, we took masking tape and we taped him to one of the poles downstairs. I felt guilty about doing it, but it was just so much fun. And then I really felt guilty when we had to rip the tape off and all of the hair off of all of his arms came off. It was painful for him. Anyway, lots of great memories. And
hey Steve, just wanted to thank you again for your hospitality and putting this together. Again, it was a great success. I'm sure everybody just like me had a great time being here. Look forward to doing it again. I think it's something special that a lot of people wish they could do. And talking to other people down in New Orleans, I can tell you that they think it's really a cool idea, especially at our age. We're not getting any younger. You know, I think the greatest commodity we have at this point is time. You never get it back. You and I've talked about that a lot. So, you know, obviously you know I'm Jeff. And listen, as far as the one memory I have that I was trying to think about was, it was a funny story, and Ginsburg will remember this. He and I were walking out the back door at the fraternity on an afternoon, and we looked in the laundry room, and Mike Diamond was sitting on the washing machine with the lid open with his pants pulled down to his ankles. And it was the weekend that the Illinois pledges, their pledge class came to Missouri for their walkout. It chose our place of all places, if you could believe that. And so Bruce and I were like, Dime, what the hell are you doing? He said, one of the guys from Illinois, their pledge class, he's washing his clothes here, so I thought I'd take a shit in his laundry. So, you know, the fondest memories I have outside of the funny memory I just gave you, bud, obviously when I pantsed you in front of Billy Cussman, who's here, if I remember correctly, when I got all of you and got that hairy ass looking at me in the face by accident. But I guess the best memory I have is the memories that I keep making with the guys that I met there for the 1 year that, you know, kept friends, you know, friendships with me, like you and Bruce and Brad and, you know, Luke and the rest of the guys. So that's more special than anything else to me, you know that. Love you, buddy.
Hi, Steve Davis, St. Louis, Missouri. Steve Lasky, thanks again so much. Love being here, first time ever in October, and it's another beautiful day, and just it's awesome. Thank you, thank you. And Sherry, thank you. So the memory that I can think of right now that really sticks out was when Mark Rosenbaum and Ben and I were living upstairs, and we got pranked with, if you guys all remember what computer punch-outs were. Well, we got pranked with a couple of bags of computer punch-outs, and I think it was over a weekend, which was against the rules back in those days. So Mark, who was always the imaginative one and still is, had an idea of pranking the Pledge John. So we took fat rolls of toilet paper, got them all wet, shoved them in the toilets, shoved them in the sinks, flushed the toilets, turned the sinks on, and that was about 4:30 in the morning. We woke up to pandemonium about 3 hours later. Nobody, not one of the pledges had gotten up since then until their first classes to go to the bathroom. There was flooding, probably this much. People saw their slippers, shoes, socks, just floating past them. Damage was done. We didn't get in trouble though, because they realized that we didn't mean to do that much damage and that they had pranked us when they weren't supposed to. So fair was fair.
Hi, I'm Sheldon Harbor. Currently live and always have in St. Louis. Right now I'm in Chesterfield, and it's the fall of 2017, and many of my classmates are really celebrating not only getting together but our 60th birthdays. And I wanted to talk about the fun times we had as a freshman with Steve. He was kind of the leader of what I would still call the old chalkboard, where we'd talk about names of television shows and movies, and then we'd substitute the real actors with people we were getting to know at school, and we had just all these nicknames. And I was T-Bone, and I used to talk about the white kid of dynamite, which could make Steve laugh at any time. And I just want to thank you for having us out here. This is truly remarkable that we could have this many people get together from just a couple of years of college, and it's something that I think we'll all remember.
Hi Steve. Hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know this has been the most incredible weekend. It's been so wonderful to recreate our fraternity life and just regather with people that I haven't seen for so long. So I really appreciate everything you've done. It was really wonderful. This is Merritt Mamroth. I currently live in St. Louis. And honestly, my best memory is at 12:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever it was, you could walk down the halls and you could join a party pretty much in a multitude of rooms. And it was just really wonderful to connect with people and have just a really good college experience. So thanks again for getting everybody together. Thanks so much.
Steve, hi. Jimmy Markinson from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, saying hi, and glad to be here. I've been to every one of these, and I don't ever plan to miss one. I've been to a few in between, and I've loved every time coming up here and being with you. You know, I'm trying to think of my favorite memory in the fraternity, and I don't have this one thing that comes. I remember the day I was introduced to everyone in the fraternity, and Dale Shankman was the person who turned me on to AePi, and that happened to be the day that the stripper came. That was the first time I had ever met anyone at AePi. I had known Dale from a class I was in, and when I saw everyone screaming, having a good time, when I saw Marshall laying down, when I saw Jay Brand eat that carrot that came out of that woman's vagina, I knew this was the place for me. But, you know, the things that remind me and give me a good glow about the fraternity were the weekends, walking down the hall, listening to the speakers from everybody's room and hearing Steely Dan, hearing Fleetwood Mac, everyone would be showering and getting ready. Everyone would be talking about what they were doing next. Those were the best times in the fraternity, when everyone was getting together to go out and be together and talk about what was good and what they were going to do. Those are the things I think of best. So thank you much for having all this done.
Steve, Larry, Carl, Overland Park, Kansas. Who would have thought that way back in 1993, what we're experiencing right now actually had its origins in 1993? Favorite house memory among many is probably that one late evening or early morning, probably about 2 in the morning, when several of the out-of-house brothers returned to the house and some steaks mysteriously disappeared along with tables. We'll let that sit in. Signing off.
Hey Steve, this is a fantastic idea. Came out great. Thank you for all the hard work you put into this. I really enjoyed it, and getting this opportunity after 40 years to see my brothers was fantastic. It's John Schreier, now living in New York. Someone had to take the east side. Favorite story to recount is early on in the pledge cycle and having a very difficult time learning how to relate to my brothers. Les decided that I should be on something called light bulb duty, and I had to carry around 4 light bulbs at all times. And my pledge brothers were nice enough to carry my bags for me. Taught me dependence, and at the same time drew me closer to the rest of the brothers. Really great to see all of them right now. Thanks.
Steve, you pulled it off. The best reunion trip of the 4 or 5 that we've had from the past 25 years. My name's Brad Geller. I live in St. Louis. It's hard to pick one memory from my AePi days. I would have to say it's all the great friends that I've made over the years that are still my friends today. And thanks Dan Wilinsky for putting this on video. Everybody take care.
First I want to say, Steve, like everybody else is going to say, is thank you very, very much. My name is Larry Aft. Currently live in Jupiter, Florida, but I am a St. Louis replant. And I think I'm the only Florida guy here. So, favorite fraternity memory. To think about that is, I was one of the things Jimmy Markinson told me was that I tend to be a little bit mischievous, and so what happened was that within my pledge class, we were all in these bunk beds in one room. And we had one brother that was extremely paranoid, and he never wanted to get pranked, and the prank was you would basically wash him out, which is while you're sleeping, dump a bucket of water on them, and we call it a washout. Not a real pleasant experience, but that was if you were being pranked on. He was extraordinarily paranoid, and so what happened was he would always make sure that the room was totally locked every single night, like bolted down. Okay, seriously, bolted down, he isn't going to get washed out. So what we did was the ceiling was paneled and it was hung down. And so what me and some of my other pledge brothers had done at the time was rigged it so that you could do one of those mop buckets that had wheels on it. On one of the panels, rigged a rope that went over into the other room outside of our room. So what happened was literally, I had a hard time getting through at that time, but got it all rigged up, and you had to kind of do it on an edge, and it was rigged up really well. He had bolted down the room, literally was laying there looking up straight at this panel, and we turned out the lights, went to bed, and about 15 minutes later it was whoosh, bam, wham, and he was totally washed out and did not expect it. And it's a great memory, a mean memory, I guess a mischievous memory, but it was a great memory, and we achieved what we wanted. It was a lot of fun, and that's the kind of stuff we do. So thanks for letting me share that, and I guess I'm done.
Steve, I've been looking forward to this for 6 months. I really appreciate you inviting me. It's been fabulous seeing people I haven't seen in 40 years who were my close friends back then. I'm Steve Pepper from St. Louis. One of my favorite college memories, during my freshman year I didn't have a date before one of the formals, and one of my pledge brothers gave me a picture of cute girl from one of the local dormitories that says she might be interested in going to formal with me. She arranged for me to call and talk with her by phone, and we spoke a couple times. She was very nice, and we hit it off. But during the second conversation, I heard a loud bang while I was talking to her over the phone. And simultaneously, I heard the same bang in the room next door. So I asked her an open-ended question, so she would be talking for a few minutes. I gently set down the phone, and then I ran over to the next room, threw the door open, and there sat Randy Gustorf talking to me on the phone in a female voice with several of my pledge brothers listening in on the conversation, trying not to laugh. So needless to say, I did not go with that girl to formal, but found another day.
Hi Steve, I want to thank you for hosting us like you did a couple of years ago. The energy and the effort you put into this is truly fantastic. I know I appreciate it immensely, and so does everybody else that's here. My name's Rick Salas, I live in St. Louis, and as far as memories from college, there are so many, just the friendships that we had and the brotherhood and the sports, and there's just too many. It was a great experience being in AePi.
Steve, wonderful time. You did it again. You pulled it off. We all appreciate the effort you put in this. I know you enjoy doing it, but it's a lot of work, and you know, I know you do it for the benefit of us, and you get quite a kick out of doing it. But we really appreciate it and really have a great time here. Next part of my speech is that I'm Ken Neiman, and I'm from St. Louis. And memories. I mean, there's lots of memories. And you know, I can think of many, but I'll settle on this one. It was a road trip to Champaign, University of Illinois, and we had quite a few of it. I know I kind of picked this one because I knew Steve Lasky was on it, and we kind of, not that we hadn't gelled before, but we had a great time together on this one. Steve will remember the pinball story, so we had a little trouble sleeping, so we kind of did something a little special with the pinball, modifying the pinball machines at the University of Illinois, and stealing one of their mattresses on the way home so we get a comfortable ride back. So,
Steve, great weekend. Thanks for having me. It was totally a blast. Enjoyed Sylvan Lake today. Just one of, I guess I'd say, Colorado's best kept secrets. The hike and the bike ride. Great confidence builders. Overall, it was great seeing everybody. And this is coming from Marshall Silvermints of St. Louis, Missouri. And now for what I can recall about fraternity days. Probably the scavenger hunt. My role in it was rather minimal, but still created quite a sensation, I guess. Was trying to find the 10 best graffiti statements in the bathrooms of the campus. So myself and Ken and Bruce Frager went around to all kinds of bathrooms, guys' bathrooms, girls' bathrooms. We couldn't find anything. So we go to Brady Commons, and I go into the bathroom, and on the back of one of the doors in the men's stall, the thing was just covered with graffiti. And as it so happened, Howard McLaughlin happened to be sitting down at one of the tables in the Commons, and he saw us come in or go into the bathroom, and he goes, "Hey, what's going on? Can I help?" We said, "Yeah, sure." So we told him. Howard goes into or Satch, as everybody may remember him, goes into the bathroom, just basically rips the door off of its hinges, gives it to us. We carry it back to the house, and nonetheless, I guess we received a positive vibe from it. And incidentally, I had that door at my mom and dad's house for years until my dad finally told me, "Marsh, get rid of it."
Yeah. Hey Steve, Jeff Gasser, Kansas City. Hey, one more time, we remembered a story that we had all forgotten, and then just sitting around, it came to me. And I told you, and you wanted it on tape. So anyway, I'm going to tell you real quick. the administration at Missouri decided to put a fence up where the shortcut was between the pool, the Aqua Center, and the ROTC field. So one night about 1 or 2 in the morning, we had the whole street staked out. Dan was there. I don't know who else was there. I don't remember, but I know I didn't take it apart because I can't use tools. But in the meantime, we tore that down, threw the pieces of hardware away, and the next morning everybody was walking right over it into the mud, and I think it made the man-eater. But, well, they put a, there's a trail there, and the rest is history if you go back to that spot right now. But anyway, that's the story.
Steve, another fantastic weekend. We've done tons of these. One is always better than the last, and what can I say other than that you've been one of my best lifelong friends. I've never seen somebody so touched when guys come, so happy to see them, and so sad to see them leave. So anyway, you're a wonderful person, and so is Sherry and the rest of your family. Even have Sherry let us stay here. It's awesome. My name is Bruce Ginsburg. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I graduated in '80 with the most unique group of pledge brothers that the house has ever seen. I recall that our house was #1 in grades and #1 in athletic intramurals, which says something about these brilliant, funny, just type A personality people, whether they were in my pledge class, the guys who were behind me, the people ahead of me. I can't even think of one favorite story. There are millions, but I do know that 35 years later, I still love 100 different guys that I met through that era. Some of the best times of my life. And really, to this day, I have to say that a dozen guys that were either in my pledge class, a year behind me, a year ahead of me, are my lifelong, very best friends. I love you, I love AePi. I'm so lucky to be part of this deal with this group. Thank you.
My name, Mark Singer. Hometown, St. Louis. Major, biology. Pre-vet, now I'm a dentist. Figure that one out. Anyway, my nickname, Swinger. Figure that one out. Anyway, thank you, Steve. Been great. You can tell I'm enjoying myself. Why does he have a glass of wine? He's not supposed to have a glass of wine because my wonderful fraternity brother I haven't seen in 40 years has a winery, Mark Manfield, and this is a benefit of me being here right now. It doesn't get any better than that. Really, I mean, that's probably my favorite story if I had to come up with one. But I'll give another one because this is now. My favorite story is it had never been done at University of Missouri, Columbia. Wet t-shirt contest. And I hope nobody's done this one yet. But anyway, it was just incredible. It was at a place called The Barn. So it's a great memory. It was a new thing for Missouri and University of Missouri. Love you guys, love everybody. We'll see you.
Hi, Jeff Moulton. Steve, thanks. This is a fantastic weekend. Looking forward to the next occasion. I'm Jeff Moulton, as I said. I live in Chesterfield, Missouri. And my favorite college moments. I love the walkout. Great experience. Enjoyed having you along. You're one of the 3 that we kidnapped. And I also liked wild wetness. But my college experience was very short, 1 year. But I enjoyed that year very much, and I'm thrilled to be here this weekend. Thanks.
Steve, I want to thank you for another great outing in Colorado, and I really want to thank you for being there for me. Lee Klein, and thinking about the memories from college, especially our freshman year, our pledge year, there's so many great memories from cleaning the house to, of course, the football parties. But I think the walkout stands out as a great memory. The bus ride to Colorado, and here we are again in Colorado. And we also had the scavenger hunt, which was a lot of fun. And we worked together as a team, and we got that done. So again, Steve, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Steve, it's always a pleasure working on these reunions with you. This is our 4th one, 3rd one here, and it's just a great time being with you. Everybody, but what you put into this, your heart and your soul into making this happen and making it a great event for everybody is just spectacular. And I appreciate it. I know everybody else does. And we love you for it, and we hope you had as good a time as we did.
Your name?
Name, Howard Hafner, Atlanta, Georgia. And my single memory, wow, there's so many memories, obviously. First, obviously, being with all the guys that are here, and obviously all the guys that are not here, but we've had a great time with. But probably you'd have to say it's the walkout. It's what you always work towards, you know, when you're out there. I'm probably not alone in saying that, but it's just the memory of getting away, sneaking away, going somewhere fun, and just really having a blast. Well, our time in New Orleans was amazing. Finding myself in the Pat O'Brien's fountain with Schnitzer was amazing. So it was just a great time, and again, just one of many, but one that stands out the most.
Steve, we're back. After discussing what our favorite memories were, we both had other memories that we had to disclose, and ironically, it was the same one. I'm going to transfer this over to my fraternity brother, Dan Wilinsky, aka Waz. Dan, take it from here.
Well, it's finals week, and I think we're pledges. And what we decided to do was create a mannequin out of paper mache. The face was out of paper mache, and we put it in real clothes, a heavy jacket, a ball cap, real shoes. And during finals week, we smuggled that mannequin into the library. It took many of us to get it past the guard and security, and we bring it upstairs to the balcony. And then what happened?
Well, then the mannequin had its day, and sure enough, he flew over the end of the what would you call that?
The railing?
The railing.
Yes.
And landed right on a table. And I want you to all to know that last year, as I was at the University of Missouri, at where we were, I went and visited that, and people started turning around when I started laughing so hard, because it's a memory that will not die. You have anything else you want to say?
As the mannequin is flying through the air, one of us yelled, "I can't take it anymore!" during finals. It was pretty funny.
And those words at this time are on the walls of the library.
This reunion is so impactful to me on so many levels. I will be in full-blown tears when everybody leaves. Everyone coming out here is their gift to me. My name is Steve Lasky, and those that don't know me, well, I'm the host here in Edwards, Colorado. My favorite memory was freshman year, sometime 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks in. Merritt, myself, Brad Geller, and 2 other guys, Al Appleman and Jeff Kaiser, woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, put on ponchos, and proceeded to destroy someone's room with horrible stuff being poured into their carpet underneath the door. And we thought we were going to get caught, so we dressed up in these disguises. And that was the beginning of the Mean Machine.